Welcome to Monday Nights at BCH, episode 3. Just for clarity, this episode was originally recorded in late November, early December 2023.
Why digital? I think if you're of a certain age, as I am, there's an attachment or a love of having a physical product, whether this is a CD or vinyl or in the day VHS or DVD or Blu-ray or 4K or PlayStation games, Xbox games, you name it. There's just something about having the physical product. And in respect of digital comics, I want to sort of broadly look at what else is happening and things that you are maybe purchasing and not really considering in the digital side of stuff. But maybe you're just very old school and everything you have is physical. I'll explain my view on digital shortly. But let's look at, for example, let's look at music. CD sales are going down and people are buying digital. If you look at DVD sales are going down. You've probably seen the news stories, as I have, that certain companies are not selling DVDs in Australia, and I think it's Best Buy in America are not going to be selling DVDs going forward. I don't know whether this will roll into Blu-ray or 4K, but it's the start, I think. Then if you go to games, so if you are on the PlayStation platform or you're on the Xbox platform or Switch or PC, it may be that you're playing games that you purchase through sales on the PSN. You may be a PlayStation Plus member, in which case you're getting games free for your free in inverted commas. You're getting games free for paying the yearly fee on it. And then if you look at books, have you got Kindle? Have you got Kindle on your phone? Have you got Kindle on your tablet? And it's not a stretch that Amazon Kindle, with that market that Amazon were looking at comics, and they acquired Comixology. I will be addressing Comixology a little bit later. So the other thing I just wanted to mention, and I think maybe you might think this is a stretch, but do you have any streaming services? Because you are getting digital content through the streaming services. So basically what you've got there is convenience. So if you're paying your X amount per month to have access to online movies and TV and that sort of stuff, it's cheaper than it is going out and buying a physical or a digital copy of one film. So that's my starting point with it. So what I want to do now is I want to look at certain things with the digital space, and I want to talk about my personal aspects. I'm an older gentleman, so I've been brought up with two modes of thought. One is when I grew up, you kept your comics, you kept your magazines because they were expensive, and the expectation was you would read those again. They weren't, certainly for me, a disposable item. So that mentality has gone into adulthood, and basically I never chucked a magazine or a comic away. They were kept. I was a great collector of vinyl in the day. I went on to CDs. I got into gaming, so PlayStation 1 upwards. I collected physical items. I collected DVDs. When Blu-ray turned up, I collected those. Same with 4Ks. And you get to the point is where do you keep your physical products? Now, I was at a point in my life where I could no longer keep the collections, and some of them were lifetime collections. I just didn't have the room for it. And I made a few hard decisions, and some of those I definitely regret, but I made hard decisions and I got rid of my physical content. And that's where digital came in for me. So, for example, with Kindle, I found I could buy books I'd already owned or books I was interested in for a cheaper price than buying a physical product. The benefits were it would be on my digital device. Now, I did use my phone originally in the early days. I haven't seen the real point of actually having a tablet, but I was won over by my first ever tablet, and I thought, yeah, this is a great platform to read books on. It wasn't a stretch then to go and buy digital comics. I'm going to loop round back to digital comics in a minute. With CDs, I'm still very much, at the moment, still very much into CDs, but I did like Amazon's auto rip. Not sure it exists now, but basically when you bought a CD, not all of them granted, but if you bought a CD, there was an auto rip option, which means you got the digital copy of the album free. There were no DRMs on it, digital right management on it. So basically you could play that on any device. So I actually quite liked that. I would buy the CD where normally I would maybe rip my own CD. The day I used to play music on my PSP or my PS Vita, I was now using my phone or tablet to actually listen to music. I did a lot of commuting, so that was convenient for me on the go. When you go to DVDs and Blu-rays, generally I rip those because I want to be able to watch those on the go. So I buy my own content and I make my own digital copies of it. I'm probably more relaxed about the format of DVD and Blu-ray now. I tend to rely on 4K versions, and I must admit I'm not beyond picking up very cheap DVDs or Blu-rays from charity shops to fill in gaps in my personal collection. But I'm actually quite happy to watch older material on services like Talking Pictures TV Encore or watching Netflix or Amazon Prime. Now, I hadn't considered digital comics. I mean, I'd given up collecting comics seriously in the mid 80s. I can pinpoint exactly when that was. But the launch of the PSP, there was an option to buy digital comics through the store. And I actually found that quite an exciting prospect. There's just something about it. I don't think the prices were too bad. I think they were 99p. We're talking 2005, but so I actually built up a bit of a collection that way. And one of the innovations I really liked, I can't remember many titles, but one was the Groom Lake title. It was a 4-issue miniseries, and the thing I found exciting about that is there was a director's commentary on the actual comic. So you could switch that on, and you could go to the page, and then the author and artist would tell you about how the page came together, plus any other insights, and then you tap for the next page, and then the audio would continue again. Now, I've not seen this on Comixology / Kindle, but I thought that was an amazing idea. So that was basically the platform I was reading digital comics on. Now, the downside of it was once the PSP had come to the end of its shelf life, I think the PSP was a fantastic portable machine. It was very flexible, as was the PS3 in its day, which the PS Vita, as much as I love it, it just was not as flexible, in my opinion, as the PSP. So the the thing is, with the benefits with the better screen on the PSP, there was no reader for digital comics. So the digital comics that I own are stuck on the PSP. Now I've downloaded all the comics I bought through the PSN for the PSP. Obviously they're not migratable, so they're on my physical device, so they'll be there forever and a day, I guess, until the memory card fails or the battery on the machine fails and you can't buy a replacement. At the moment, I think you can buy a replacement PSP batteries, but to be honest, I haven't powered up the PSP in some years now. So I felt like I lost my collection there. Now, Comixology, I haven't actually got the date for Comixology, but that kicked off in the noughties, and then it was bought by Amazon, I think, in 2014, 2015. So this is where I sort of re-engaged with digital comics. One thing I was quite impressed with the Comixology app under Amazon. I don't have any experience with the app prior to that. is there have been issues that were available for sale that are no longer available for sale. So you would think that the fact that you've bought the items, that you've lost access to them, and that isn't the case. An example I can give you is they released some of the Bongo Simpson comics. Now, I bought, just for nostalgia's sake, because I bought the Bongo comics, I think, in the 1990s. I bought a couple of the Bongo issues. It wasn't a title I was going to collect, but I just wanted to just revisit a couple of the titles. Now, you can't buy these now through Comixology, but they're still on my download list. I can still search for the issues, I can download them, and I can read them. The other thing, which is slightly annoying, I bought the first 4 issues of The Kingsman, Mark Millar's Kingsman. I didn't buy the last 2 issues. I don't know why, but I still have the original releases of the digital versions of Kingsman 1 to 4. Now, I don't think 5 and 6 are available, but you can buy the graphic novel digitally, and basically to complete it, I actually bought the graphic novel compilation as a sale item. So yes, I have it all, but it's got new covers. So I was quite impressed with that. So I'm certainly confident that my digital collection for comics were going to be intact. What I'm coming up to now is I want to mention Google Newsstand. Now, I find Google's treatment of digital magazine, I think, slightly odd. Basically, under Google Newsstand, you could buy magazines under this platform, but I think in 2015 or 2016, they decided they weren't going to continue with it. I guess the sales were low. Now, on Google Newsstand, there's no option for digital magazines. I actually had to do research online to find out where my bought content was. I was able then to find where Google had hidden it, and I'm pretty sure they moved where the content is a couple of times. Now, if you've been on the British Comic Heroes Facebook page, you would have seen our post as a result of having received an email from Google saying that I think it's the 6th, it might have been the 8th of December, you're not going to be able to access any digital content you've bought. The email will give you a link to a page where you can download every single magazine you've bought in PDF format. So I'm happy in one sense that that content isn't lost. Now you might think, well, what's that got to do with comics? Well, under Google Newsstands, I was buying Viz. So one of the content there was actually digitally comic based. So I'm glad I've not lost any of those issues. The other news was an email about Comixology. Now, British Comic Heroes, we've been critical of Comixology from 2021, specifically February 2021, where they introduced a new app. A lot of things were promised with this new app. I don't think any of it was delivered, but what we got, considering the original Comixology app, which I must admit I thought was pretty good, the replacement app, in my opinion, was broken. We certainly criticised it. We did say that we would look at it in a couple of months' time to see whether things had changed, and it didn't. To be honest, I haven't actually reviewed our post from February 2021. You can find it on the British Comic Heroes Facebook page. If you type hashtag BCH underscore Comixology, our comment should appear in the search results for that hashtag. So from what I can recall, one of the criticisms we had was it's pretty basic. Under the old app, you could look up a title and it would give you preview pages. You can go back one page, scroll down, look at another one, back, scroll down, look at another one, etc. Very basic stuff. Under the new version, you'd go into a title you're interested in. There was no preview. You had to download it. If you then back-paged, it would take you back to the first 10 default views. You then have to scroll, it would load the next 10, scroll the next 10. So that's 30 issues that you scrolled through. If you then looked at an issue and you thought, oh, that's interesting, download the preview, go back one, you're at the first 10. Now, when it's busy, there are hundreds of titles. So not only are you sort of having to download previews rather than see them on the page, you're constantly defaulted back to the first listing of the comics. I found this very, very frustrating. As if I recall correctly, content we own wasn't actually listed, and there are certainly titles that weren't there. I had to search for it to find out I owned it, and then I could download it. Reading on the app was fine. I don't think there was any really real issues with that. A common thing, if you've got any digital services through Amazon, for example, Bod told me that, for example, the talking book side of Amazon, Amazon Music, Kindle, you can no longer buy through the app, and I believe this is because of a disagreement between Google payments and Amazon, but they've decided that you can't buy through the apps. You actually have to go to the website to actually buy these stuff. So on Comicology, for example, you'd have to heart a title you're interested in, then go to amazon.co.uk and buy the issues singularly through that. Yes, singularly. So you can't add 6 titles, add them to your basket, and then buy them. You have to make 6 separate transactions. The latest news with that is if you are registered with Comicology, you would have had an email telling you that Comicology is effectively no longer being supported. I think you can use it as a reader for the time being, but I don't think any content will be, new releases, you're not going to get any content updated to be able to heart. So what they're saying is your content will now be available through Kindle. Now, before I did the recording, I actually had a look at Kindle. It's certainly a service I use. So Kindle does have the, the comics flow aspect to it. It seems to work fine. I think the issues of buying, I've not tried this to be honest, but I think the issues of buying more than one comic and having to do it individually, I think that issue is still there. But it just effectively means that Comicology as a platform is dead. It's finished. Now, Comicology and Kindle have been linked anyways. I went through the misery of having to reset my Amazon password, and when I logged into Kindle, it got swamped with every single preview that I've ever downloaded, to the extent, and we're talking thousands, to the extent that I had to remember titles, books I'd actually bought on Kindle. Now, I'm not entirely convinced at the moment I've actually identified every single Kindle book I've bought, but I think I'm probably 95% there. So that was another frustrating thing that happened. Right, I wanted to mention DC Thompson and Digital Comics. DC Thompson were on Comicology. They obviously had a go at trying to get their content on the platform. I think this is around about 2015. They obviously tried, and maybe the sales weren't there, so they haven't really bothered. But you could get the Beano Annuals, the Bruins, R. Willie, and they did do best of British Annuals. The only title that continued to be released until recently, and back issues were being released for it as well, was the Commando series. Now, was never a big fan of Commando in its day. I was actually interested, certainly the past few years, in the title. Bi-weekly release schedules, so they do 4 issues, 2 reprints, 2 new stories. Then in 2 weeks' time, you get the same. These were coming out on Comicology. They were actually well priced. But what happened was there were going back about 18 months, I think it was, there were some digital compilations of Commando. So I thought, okay, we'll download the previews of them and we'll just see what they contain. And it's clear that these are actually pirated. These are not official DC Thompson releases. So obviously at some point, DC Thompson got Comicology to actually remove the pirate commandos off the platform. But it does raise a few questions, and one would be, how did it get past the Kindle stroke Comicology threshold? The actual issues themselves were actually pretty poor. There was no restoration done, but I do think that these digital versions of Commando might have inspired DC Thompson to actually start releasing digital compilations themselves on Comicology. I've actually quite enjoyed the compilations they did release, and if you follow the Facebook Commando Comics page, every time they announced a digital release, a lot of fans were saying, "Oh, where's the physical copies?" or "Why can't you release this physically?" Well, which is a fair comment. DC Thompson have done physical compilations to mixed results, certainly in quality, in my opinion. But yeah, what's happened earlier this year, and I've no idea why this has happened, but Commando comics were no longer available on Comicology. Now, I reached out to DC Thompson and I just got the automated reply. I also commented on their Facebook page and got no reply, which is, to be honest, if you've commented on that page, you rarely get a reply. So it wasn't really a surprise. But I left a comment on Down the Tubes, John Freeman's excellent news site, and basically he was able to confirm that Commando comics weren't going to be on Comicology. What happened as a result of this, though I don't think it was advertised as such, I certainly don't remember being told that digital comics you could only get now through DC Thompson. But there is a DC Thompson Commando Comics app. So I downloaded that, only to find that it's a reader and you can't buy content through the app. What you have to do is you have to take out a subscription at the DC Thompson website, and I must admit it's one of the most user-unfriendly sites I've been to. And I'm not clear, to be honest, whether you could buy a one-issue subscription. What I want to do is I want to go in and I want to buy issues maybe every 2 weeks, or maybe I want to skip a week, or maybe I just want to buy the new issues. But I don't think the option is there. I think you have to take out a subscription. It was, the digital comics were all in one place. They're now not. I'm not quite sure what the status is of the Marvel or the DC apps. They were basically mirrors of the Comicology app. So I wanted to talk about Rebellion. Now, I actually like Rebellion's digital strategy. You've got a 2000 AD store, and under that umbrella you've got 2000 AD, Judge Dredd Magazine, Monster Fun, Treasury of British Comics. You've got the graphic novels on there. There's freebies on there. They're cheaper than buying the physical product. It's available day of release. So specialist titles, things like Battle Action, which I had trouble picking up from comic shops, so I'll talk about that in a minute. Day release, you can buy the digital copy. It's cheaper than physical. Same with the new Smash miniseries. I really like it. It's digital right management 3. You can download either a CBZ or a PDF, and you can read it in your own viewer, or you can download their app and read it through there. So thumbs up to Rebellion. Right mixture of price point, user friendliness. Spot on. Yeah, well done, Rebellion. Battle Action, this year's miniseries, 5 issues, and the 3-issue miniseries of Smash aren't available in the high street. And when I say high street, I'm talking about W.H. Smith. They are available through specialist comic shops. Now, I've had a problem with, I've got 3 comic shops that I can visit. One, I can guarantee to pick them up. The problem with it is when I've bought and downloaded the digital version of, say, Smash 1, the expectation is I can go to my specialist shop, maybe 2 or 3 days later and pick up a physical copy. Now, they just haven't had them. It's the same issue I had with Battle Action. The issue was coming in like 2 months after the digital release came out. Now, speaking to the staff there, I'm of the impression that they're ordering from, uh, um, say, a Diamond catalogue or whatever, and the magazines are actually listed for, a couple of months later. So despite the fact the digital version's out, I couldn't go down and buy the current issue. It just seems a bit stupid to me, but that's the way it is. Why they couldn't get the Battle Action on through Double Eight Smith. A comment on their Facebook page was the fact that Smiths weren't interested in picking up miniseries, and yet Smiths are seem to be dumping poor selling graphic novels. You'll notice these are starting to turn up now in the comics. If you look at the copyright dates, they are a couple of years old. So these are sort of one-offs, and yet Smiths are happy to take that, but they won't take a miniseries. It's a bit weird that, like I say, if you look at Monster Fun, Monster Fun must be doing well. It's gone from quarterly to bi-monthly to monthly. They've recently had a revamp, and I always think with revamp, sales are going down, but it seems to be selling. It's in the high street. It seems to be selling. I find it difficult to actually pick up an issue. But Battle Action, why isn't Battle Action rubbing shoulders with Monster Fun in 2000 AD? Comicology going forward, it's going to be in Kindle. I'm guessing branding wise, it's finished. Kindle experience isn't bad. I would rather be able to buy through the app and sort of collect half a dozen titles, check out, be able to pay for it. It's not going to happen at the moment. I don't know when that will ever come back. Google have obviously pulled out of digital going back to 2015, 2016, so they're out of the equation. Rebellion are going strength from strength, I think, on the digital side of it. Can't say to what the sales are, but they're still offering it. I'm just a fan of their digital side of things. I would say as an older gentleman, and I just don't have the space for a lot of physical things anymore. That I think as we all get older, I think it's going to be a factor. You're gonna, I can carry my comic collection and my book collection around with me on a tablet or a phone. I can carry some TV series, some films in high def on my phone or on tablet. My music's constantly on my phone and on my tablet. And let's put it this way: you're probably listening to this digitally through the YouTube app, and it's going through your phone network or your home Wi-Fi, or cable maybe, through your TV. Who knows? I think it's the way it's going. I think physical media is going to be the thing of the past, and I think the way that the comic industry is going, I just wonder if digital will be the final part of it. I'm genuinely excited by Rebellion's physical release strategy. I don't necessarily like the Diamond Catalogue release dates aspect of it, but I'm genuinely excited by that. What I don't want is, loads of different apps covering the content. That's one thing I liked about Comicology. It was almost everything under one roof. Now it's not. So things are fragmenting. But what do you think? Are you a digital fan? Are you a physical fan? And do you think, as you get older, and as things develop, do you think that physical media is on the way out? I can't see that it's going to be there forever as such. I think I'll live long enough to see the end of it, to be honest. And the other thing you need to consider, I guess, is the younger generations that grew up, with smartphones. Just having digital files is normal for them. Um, so there you go. Um, I say I like physical media, but I'm not anti-digital. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. Click the subscribe button, hit the like button if you liked it, and if you didn't like it, thank you for your time. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.